Hey traders, this is Will. I'm looking at Bitcoin against the US dollar. As you guys can see, price has pretty much remained in this bearish channel since the start of 2018, where we see price pretty much tested key resistance multiple times as well as key support multiple times, and price still managed to stay in this bearish channel since, indicating that fundamentally, as for the time being, price is pretty much in a bear market. And of course, I'd like to point out to what's happening right now, where I consider this as a pretty important um, moment right now for Bitcoin price. You can see here that price is pretty much trading just below this major resistance at this level. You guys can see, and in fact, we're looking at the 4-hour chart here, and we see a lot of candles trading or literally touching this resistance multiple times, indicating that the market is currently testing major resistance right now. And we can see here that price is trading in a, you could say, a narrow channel where we saw price falling to this key support, but quickly jump back to test this key resistance again, indicating that the market is pretty uncertain right now what's going to happen next. And that's usually correlated with a decrease in volume, as you guys can see here, a generally decrease in volume. But of course, as you guys know, markets trends always change. Peak jump buyers and sellers always jump back in. So in a few hours or maybe in a few days, we could see volume spiking soon, and that could be moved to the upside, potentially testing this key resistance here, or another push back down to test this key support here. Nevertheless, guys, I would recommend looking at Bitcoin prices very closely right now, as there are two strong scenarios that could happen. First one being, of course, a bullish breakout to the upside from this key resistance, or as said earlier, a move to the downside to test this key support. Of course, if price does manage to fall to this key support, that at all doesn't mean price could not have another bullish breakout. We saw here that price had a really sharp fall, I think about 3 or 4% drop a few days ago, and I think on Friday, and I think that's because of the Bitcoin major ETF being denied by the SEC. The reason for that is because Bitcoin isn't an asset. They cite, after all, it is a currency, and I do agree with the SEC. The more that having more futures, and the fact having listed on the stock exchange basically just makes it a futures market or a gambler's market. And of course, Bitcoin is still, or pretty much cryptocurrency in general, is still in its infancy. So doing those kind of stuff is, in my opinion, very bad for its long-term development. But anyway, guys, back here, like I said earlier, two scenarios: bullish breakout and a move to the downside. In my personal opinion, I believe that Bitcoin could move up here, testing. I think we'll see a lot more volatility coming ahead. As I said earlier, volumes will always spike as time goes on. But in my opinion, long term, I still believe that Bitcoin still has a lot of room to fall still. And here goes to the bigger picture. Let's look under the log here. The bigger picture of Bitcoin price going back to 2012. We can see here that Bitcoin has pretty much remained in this bullish channel ever since. So fundamentally, the market is bullish on the Bitcoin for many years. And we can see here that price broke through this key support. We can see here support, price testing support multiple times. And of course, we also saw that here. You see here price testing support. And of course, we have this massive bearish breakout. And if you guys look closely, we can see that price is also trading just below this key resistance, which is one of the reasons why I think this is an extremely key moment for Bitcoin price, as a rejection from this key resistance would be extremely bearish for the Bitcoin, where we could see it potentially fall even further. My long-term perspective of Bitcoin is that I believe it could easily hit 4,000, potentially 5,000, and maybe even touch this key resistance. So entering into 2019, Bitcoin could still be moving a lot lower, potentially testing this key support before another bull market could start, say, beginning or maybe mid-2019. Now looking at another indicator, one of my personal favorite that I believe more traders should be looking at is Ethereum against the Bitcoin. This is a classic indicator in my opinion because Ethereum is fundamentally superior than the Bitcoin. So its ratio is pretty important in my opinion. You can see here since the inception of Ethereum, price has remained in this bullish channel since, of course confirming the key fundamental that Ethereum is fundamentally more valuable than Bitcoin. And we can see here price is approaching key support, but in actuality if we draw another key support based on these lows here, we could see the ratio falling even further, potentially to 0.045, and again indicating that the crypto market basically still has a lot of room to fall before another bullish market pretty much could start again. Anyway guys, if you guys do find this video useful, please give us a thumbs up, and of course subscribe for more analysis video.